Mr Speaker, I present a message from the Deputy Governor.
The message from the Deputy Governor recommends the appropriation bill. The contents of the message will be incorporated in the record of proceedings. I table the message for the information of members. I call the Treasurer.
Mr Speaker, I present a bill for an act authorising the Treasurer to pay amounts from the Consolidated Fund for departments for the financial years starting 1 July 2025 and 1 July 2026. I tabled the bill, the explanatory notes and a statement of compatibility with human rights. Mr Speaker, when the people of Queensland changed the government last October, they voted for a fresh start. They voted for a fresh start in the way in which its government approaches the budget. They wanted a government that understood the daily challenges they faced and could deliver a plan to deal with them. Respect for taxpayers' money, respect for our public servants who work to heal the sick, teach and care for our young and protect our citizens. Respect for the industries that underpin our prosperity, and respect for hard-working Queenslanders who deserve better than what a decade of Labor government gave them. This budget lays the foundation for a fresh start. When the true state of the books was revealed in January, it seemed that the task was impossible. But the work we have done since coming to government is reflected today in the budget I deliver. It delivers for the Queensland people and keeps faith with the election of a new government. It honours our election commitments. It delivers.
We'll have silence during the reading of the bill. Thank you. Treasurer, you have the call.
It honours our election commitments. It delivers cost of living relief that is responsible and recurrent, targeted and timely. It funds services that would have ceased and jobs that would have ended. It saves infrastructure and projects that would have never been built. It makes investments in a stronger, more productive economy which will build a better lifestyle for Queenslanders. And it lays the foundation for long-term budget repair. Labor's last budget update revealed the depths of their debt, deficit and deception. Debt was projected to reach $217.8 billion in 27-28. Debt per capita was forecast to reach almost $40,000 per person, the highest in the nation. A 4-year capital program that was ungoverned and undeliverable. Project overruns everywhere. Poorly scoped, badly managed and significantly underfunded. Copper String, Pioneer Burdekin, Barumba, Cross River Rail, the Health Capacity Expansion Program. The list was long. Labor's announced but unfunded service delivery commitments were forecast to drive deficits across the forward estimates of more than $30 billion. A consistent worsening trend with a forecast operating deficit of $9.2 billion in 2027-28. Queensland's budget papers cheapened into advertising hoarding. And who can forget the election campaign? State-owned service stations, state-owned GP practices, another state-owned energy retailer, and state-sliced school lunches, all announced in a desperate attempt to secure political survival. That was Labor's legacy, and that is what we inherited. We promised that we would adopt a calm and methodical approach to the budget. We promised that we would target budget improvements and in doing so, develop a plan to improve the lives of Queenslanders. We promised we would do so carefully. We promised that debt would be lower under Crisafulli government, and today we are delivering on that promise. Today, I can advise the House that total state debt is now forecast to reach $205.7 billion at the end of the forward estimates in 28-29. Under Labor, debt was forecast to reach $217.8 billion in 27-28 and was on a trajectory to balloon further to $252 billion in 28-29. Interest costs across the forwards are now forecast to be $2.3 billion lower than what they would have been under Labor, which leaves more to be paid to our frontline workers rather than our lenders. Our 4-year capital program is $116.8 billion. This demonstrates our determination to lay the foundation for the future and to deliver a better lifestyle for Queenslanders. Mr. Speaker, I've repeatedly warned it would be a serious challenge to return the budget to surplus, and it is. The operating deficit forecast for 2025-26 is $8.6 billion. Labor's consistent worsening deficits, including the $9.2 billion deficit in 27-28, are reversed across the forward estimates as we deliver consistent budget improvements, reducing the operating deficit to $1.1 billion in 28-29. This deficit is driven by a sharp drop in forecast GST revenue and the duty to deliver the jobs and services Queenslanders were promised. Mr. Speaker, we face significant revenue headwinds. Firstly, declining coal royalties. The former government collected more in coal royalties in 2 years than what we will collect in 4. They promised, Mr. Speaker, that progressive coal royalties would fund all their unfunded promises. But, Mr. Speaker, the revenue that those opposite claimed to have banked is gone. Secondly, Queensland's unprecedented GST reduction of $2.3 billion between last year and our first budget has punched a hole in revenue forecasts. This redistributive loss comprises more than 25% of this year's operating deficit and strips $5 billion from revenue over the next 3 years. It is the biggest redistribution of GST revenue in history. Queensland is providing national leadership in developing our natural resources and improving productivity. We shouldn't be penalised for doing the right thing, and our efforts must be acknowledged with a coherent, consistent and fair GST deal. If not, where is the incentive to grow our state's economy and therefore our nation's wealth? Notwithstanding these challenges, the long-term debt trajectory is slowing and the deficits will lessen over the forward estimates as revenues improve and expenses are carefully managed as we promised. That's less debt and smaller operating deficits than our predecessors, but with more to show for it. The former government promised 26 times that there would be no new or increased taxes, and they broke that promise. They damaged confidence, they damaged our reputation, and they damaged our state's interests. In contrast, we are delivering what we promised. This is a budget with no new or increased taxes. Because, Mr. Speaker, it is beyond time that we restored taxation and regulatory certainty and stability to Queensland. We are actually doing what matters. Our fiscal position is stabilising, but the serious challenges we face will not be overcome in a single budget. It will take time, this term of government and the next, and today we're laying the foundation of a pathway to surplus. To deliver on this, we are making changes to our state's fiscal principles. We will now seek to stabilise the non-financial public sector debt to revenue ratio and general government net debt to revenue ratio at sustainable levels in the medium term, and we are targeting reductions in the debt to revenue ratio in the long term. The new approach concentrates on the debt that the state needs to service and closely aligns with credit rating agency measures of debt burden. In a Queensland First, we are adding a productivity-focused fiscal principle, which is targeting productivity improvements across the private and public sectors. And, Mr. Speaker, I now wish to table the revised Charter of Fiscal Responsibility. Our re-established Queensland Productivity Commission will lead forward-leaning debate, analysing what the state can do to support the Commonwealth's efforts in driving productivity and deliver sustained improvement in living standards. We will also cap the number of non-frontline senior executives at current levels until 2028. This will be managed by the Public Sector Commissioner in consultation with departments. We're realising stronger debt and portfolio management outcomes by using the Debt Retirement Fund for its established purpose. Annual repayments of debt from investment returns including through the transferring of $3 billion of surplus defined benefit assets, will lower debt by $4.8 billion by 30 June 2029. Mr Speaker, Queensland is not immune to challenges facing other states and countries. Uncertainty in the global economy has grown in recent years, even weeks, exacerbated by trade volatility and wars in Europe and the Middle East that disrupt established trade balances. Despite these challenges, Queensland's economic growth is forecast to strengthen and remain robust in the forward estimates. Treasury is forecasting gross state product of 2.75% in 25-26. It's an early signal that our open for business approach is being noted. Labour market conditions are expected to remain strong, and the unemployment rate is expected to stay lower for longer and remain beneath the long-run average across the forecast period. Wages too are forecast to grow at 3.5% in 25-26, representing real wages growth. Laying the foundation to overcome the budget challenges we inherited means we can find a way to meet the big issues Queenslanders face and deliver the fresh start they voted for. Household budgets continue to come under pressure. We promised to deliver targeted, responsible and comprehensive relief to those who need it most, coupled with investments into long-term structural reform to put downward pressure on the cost of living. Long-term structural reform is fundamental to improving living standards. Delivering safety where you live puts downward pressure on insurance premiums. We're increasing our electricity maintenance guarantee to $1.6 billion, building on the $450 million already invested in 24-25 to properly maintain our generation assets and put downward pressure on power bills. Since forming government, we've taken decisive and immediate action on cost of living relief, which this budget consolidates. We're providing $37.5 million for free health checks for kids in kindy. We've abolished the patients tax, which lowers the cost to see the doctor. Doctors are healers, not bookkeepers, and we want doctors to be with patients, not with their lawyers and accountants. We've abolished stamp duty for first home buyers purchasing a new home, and we've extended the boosted first homeowner grant to $30,000 for 12 months, incentivising young people to get into the market in a new house, thereby encouraging supply through new build construction. Mr Speaker, this budget also locks in the Crisafulli government's permanent 50-cent fares.
Order. Order.
Yep.
We'll have order before we continue. Tradition to listen to this speech and so on.
Mr Speaker, we're investing $26.3 million for our supercharged solar for renters program that will reduce power bills for renters. Building on a former Liberal national government vision to support families aspiring to see their kids play sport, we have provided long-term funding for the Play On program that would have otherwise stopped under those opposite next week. Next week. Next week.
Member for Waterford. Can I just make, there's going to be 2 days to debate this bill. You can have your say then. If we get any more interjections, I'll start removing people from the chamber. Treasurer, you have the call.
Nearly $8.5 billion, Mr Speaker, in ongoing concessions are forecast to be provided to Queenslanders in 25-26. And today, I announced that we are restoring indexation to the electricity rebate scheme for vulnerable households, providing an uplift in support for more than 600,000 Queensland households, that more than 600,000 Queensland households will receive. This is a 3.8% increase that will reduce the average power bill for vulnerable households. It will mean that they rebate $386 rather than $372 in 25-26. This modest cost of living relief, frozen by the former government in 2022, Mr Speaker, it will be indexed every year under the Crisafulli government. After a decade of weakened youth crime laws, Queenslanders are grappling with a long-term crime crisis that has threatened their safety and the sanctuary of their homes and businesses and exacerbated cost of living pressures. The Crisafulli government is delivering stronger laws and consequences for actions, more police, and a clear focus on rehabilitation and early intervention. This budget invests $347.7 million to deliver our Making Queensland Safer laws. These are investments in the front line, in our people, in our facilities, in the system. Investments that are making our communities safer. In our first 200 days of government, we have delivered net 240 new police officers, considerably more than the net 174 our predecessors delivered in the last term of government. We are fulfilling our commitment to bolster our front line with 1,600 new recruits across the term. And those officers are being properly resourced to make our community safer, with $147.9 million in this budget for new tasers, vests, body-worn cameras and safety equipment. We're delivering $290.3 million to build new and upgraded police stations, facilities and beats at Burleigh, Nambour, Logan Central, Mount Gravatt, Boondall, Ferny Grove, Redcliffe, Edmonton, Palm Island and Goodna, giving our officers the facilities and resources they need to tackle crime. We're setting aside funds to buy land for proposed new police stations at Yarrabelba, Rainbow Beach and Caboolture West. And to reduce attrition and boost morale, a new $13.5 million mental health support framework will be implemented for current and former officers. This budget provides more than $38.8 million for intensive case management and $75 million to the youth co-response models, intervening early and responding fast wherever needed. We're investing $24.4 million in bail programs, and we're breaking the cycle of reoffending with our Staying on Track program, which provides intensive 12-month rehabilitation support. Mr. Speaker, we're also sending a message that victims will not be forgotten or left alone. This budget is delivering an additional $275 million in financial assistance to provide payments to victims of crime, a bolstered $11.6 million victim liaison service to help navigate the court process, and permanent funding of $10 million per year for a new victims advocate service. Our government has inherited a legal and prison system in disarray, backlogs of cases before the courts, failing infrastructure, unfunded community legal services. We are laying the foundations for a safer Queensland by investing $2.4 billion to deliver new facilities for additional prisoner capacity across Townsville and Brisbane. Over 5 years, we will inject $76.3 million into developing new courthouse infrastructure, including improved facilities for victims of domestic and family violence. And we have provided certainty for our community legal sector, unlocking almost $1 billion in joint Commonwealth state funding. We're investing an additional $73.5 million in repairing the serious issues plaguing our state's forensic system, working through the backlog and conducting historical case reviews as an interim step while we await the findings of the independent review. Mr. Speaker, a strong start in life is key to a better future, and we want no young Queenslander to miss out on the opportunities and experiences that can help them grow. Alarmingly, NAPLAN results show the state's outcomes for reading and spelling went backwards across every year level in 2024. Only a world-class education system can unlock world-class skills and knowledge that can power world-class productivity. That's why the Crisafulli government is delivering the single largest investment into Queensland's public schools in our state's history. That includes new primary schools in Caloundra South and Ripley Valley, as well as 6 new special schools and campuses in Berrinba, Coomera, Springfield Redbank, Beenleigh, Ipswich West and Moreton Bay South in an $814.8 million investment over 4 years. Over the next 10 years, the government will inject more than $9.4 billion into the state's public school system, unlocking new funding as part of our historic deal with the Commonwealth. On top of that, we will provide an additional $222 million to deliver on our commitment to slash red tape and provide 550 more teacher aides and support teachers. We're also targeting bullying in our schools, with a range of new anti-bullying initiatives and the innovative new rapid support squads to provide on-the-ground expertise to respond to bullying incidents. Mr. Speaker, in recognition of the support our young and their families need, today I announce that we will couple these record-breaking investments with a $100 back-to-school boost starting from 1 January for every primary school student in Queensland. Yeah. This is a new initiative that will support families with the cost of excursions, school books, uniforms, whatever they need to give their kids the best start to the school year. It applies across Queensland, no matter where you go to school. State, Catholic, independent, big or small, urban, country or remote, wherever you may go. Ackland, Canossa Catholic Primary, Caloundra State School, even Gulugaba State School. We're investing in this targeted program across the Forge to support Queensland families as part of a responsible and comprehensive cost of living package. Mr. Speaker, Queensland needs more homes. More homes in the regions, more homes in the southeast, more homes for families, more homes for singles, more homes for renters, more homes for those living with a disability, more homes near public transport hubs. We know the challenges: rising rents, struggling mortgage holders, generations of Queenslanders losing hope of ever owning their own home. A record 52,000 Queenslanders languishing on social housing wait lists, a community housing sector held back for too long. This budget lays the foundation for our government's plan to deliver 2,000 new social and community homes a year by 2028, 4 times the rate of the former government, as we strive to meet a target of 53,500 new social homes by 2044. This budget includes a record $5.6 billion investment in new social and community housing initiatives. And to support our most vulnerable Queenslanders, we are delivering a $366 million boost to crisis and temporary accommodation, complemented by a 20% uplift for specialist homelessness service providers over the next 4 years. Under the former government, new home approvals fell, investors were demonised, and productivity in construction sites stagnated. We will deliver 1 million new homes across the state by 2044 by making it easier for the private sector to get to work and build the communities of the future. Today, Mr. Speaker, I announce that the first $1 billion of the cornerstone $2 billion Residential Activation Fund will be allocated by 30 June 2026. Yeah. This key pillar of the Crisafulli government's housing plan is breaking down the barriers for infill and greenfield developments. The fund will support local councils and developers to fast-track critical infrastructure works like water, power and transport to get land ready to build more homes sooner. Half of this fund will be invested in regional, rural and remote Queensland, ensuring the benefits are spread across our state. Already, we've seen $1.8 billion in applications made that would unlock 158,000 homes. And I know, Mr. Speaker, that the Deputy Premier will be very busy naming successful applicants very soon. Mr. Speaker, as Queensland's first home ownership minister, I've been tasked with taking Queensland from the bottom of the national home ownership ladder to the top in the next decade. We have a generation despairing as their home ownership dream fades from view. Simply accumulating a deposit has put home ownership beyond the great majority who cannot turn to their parents for a contribution. Today, I announce that from 1 July, people will be able to register their interest in our Boost to Buy program, a nation-leading home ownership scheme that will reduce the deposit gap for first home buyers. With up to 1,000 dreams realised over the next 2 years, this nation-leading program, supported by an investment of $160 million, will see the government take an equity stake in new and existing dwellings to help more people get into the housing market with a smaller mortgage and a lower deposit as low as 2%. This program has the highest income thresholds of any related scheme in the country, with the government investing up to 30% equity for new builds and 25% of existing homes, up to a home value of $1 million. This important step, together with our whole of government focus on delivering supply, the abolition of stamp duty for first home buyers purchasing a new home, and extending the boosted $30,000 first homeowner grant for 12 months, will all work together to unlock home ownership for more Queenslanders. The government alone cannot solve the housing crisis. We need collaboration and coordination across all levels of government, the community housing sector and the private sector. To facilitate the free flow of capital, I announced today that the government is reviewing how applications for ex gratia relief from foreign surcharges are assessed to support the timely, expedited flow of capital to deliver housing, industrial and agricultural investment. The Property Consultative Committee, which we recently re-established after a 6-year abeyance, will work with the government to complete updated guidelines by MIFA in December. Mr Speaker, for too long, Queenslanders have endured an ailing health system with 45% ambulance ramping, ballooning elective surgery wait lists and deteriorating infrastructure. When Queenslanders voted for a fresh start, they voted for easier access to health services where and when they need them. That is what we are delivering. In 2025-2026, the health budget will reach a record $29.4 billion, a 10.2% increase. More than $6.5 billion over the next 4 years will ensure we can stabilise bed and system capacity across Queensland. Add 30,000 additional elective surgeries in 2025-26 through the Surgery Connect program and provide funding to open stage 2 of the Marta Springfield project. This also includes investment of $20.4 million over 4 years to establish women's and girls' health hubs. We're also making a capital investment of $18.5 billion over the 5 years from 2024-25 into the Hospital Rescue Plan, the biggest investment in health infrastructure in Queensland's history. We're investing in a new Queensland Cancer Centre, new CT scanners and MRI machines in satellite health centres and regional hospitals. With new hospitals to be built at Toowoomba, Coomera and Bundaberg, and expansions for 10 existing hospitals, it will deliver more than 2,600 hospital beds across the state. We're boosting our frontline health workforce with more than 4,500 additional health workers in 2025-26, including doctors, nurses and paramedics. And we're investing $38.5 million over 3 years for our Step Up, Step Down program, delivering 2 24/7 youth mental health facilities. Mr Speaker, the long-term driver of our productivity is our people, their skills, their hard work, their creativity. Our public service should be empowered and respected. And let's not forget the baseless scare campaign of those opposite. Today, the misinformation and deception ends. Because this budget confirms we're doing what the Premier said we would do by delivering a stronger public service, which will grow in 25-26 to 277,352. We're empowering the public service after the Coldrake report exposed the former government's culture of fear and intimidation. It warned that the capacity of the public service was being hollowed out by a cumulative loss of expertise because of the former government's over-reliance on external consultants and contractors. Labor oversaw exponential billion-dollar spending growth in consultants and contractors, despite promising to trim billions from the existing spend. We committed before the election to slow this exponential growth by building capacity in the public service as recommended by Coldrake. From 1 July, the freshly established Queensland Government Consulting Services will continue our work of rebuilding the capability of the public service and equipping it with the tools to competently address a range of complex challenges. It will be seeded with an initial $15 million investment over 2 years and will sit as a new business unit within Queensland Treasury Corporation. Upon taking government, Treasury communicated clear expectations to departments, demanding greater scrutiny when engaging contractors and consultants. As reported by the Queensland Audit Office, spending on external consultants and contractors increased from approximately $2.1 billion in 2020-21 to $3.7 billion in 2023-24, a compound annual growth rate of over 20%. On this trajectory, total spending on consultants and contractors would have reached $4.5 billion by 24-25. Based on analysis of spending to March 2025 and prorated for the full year, the estimated consultant and contractor spend is $4 billion. Together, with budgeted savings from reduced QGCS startup costs and additional savings from consultants and contractors associated with the Barumba Pumped Hydro Energy Storage Project, the total forecast savings in contractors and consultants for 2024-25 total $681.5 million. But Mr. Speaker, the work has just begun as we deliver on this necessary election commitment to restore the Queensland public service. Mr. Speaker, work continues on our energy roadmap. That will be completed by the end of this year. This year, the budget includes a record $2.4 billion investment in copper string. Real money to build the transmission line and real investment in the economic growth of our state, including our mineral and renewable-rich northwest. It means real, on-the-ground work in the upcoming financial year as work progresses to connect the Hughenden Hub to future renewable energy and wind projects in the Flinders Shire to the national electricity market pending approvals. In 25-26, Stanwell will continue to work with Quinbrook on the proposed 114 megawatt Lockyer energy project near Gatton, while CleanCo will investigate a new gas turbine at Swanbank. This budget also invests $479.2 million in 25-26 into the development of the 400 megawatt Brigalow gas peaker project at Kogan Creek. We promised to fund smaller, more manageable pumped hydro projects, and we are delivering on that promise. We're investing $79 million to progress ongoing development of CleanCo's Mount Rawdon and Stanwell's Big T pumped hydro projects. And CS Energy continues investigative work on the Capricornia project, all being progressed in partnership with the private sector. As QIC progresses a proper commercial assessment of delivery options, our budget allocates $355 million towards early works on the Barumba Pumped Hydro project. Queensland's future workforce and productivity depends on the right investment in the right training and skills. We've inherited a skills shortage that has been a handbrake on productivity and the economy and applied significant pressure to industries, small businesses and households. This budget lays the foundation for a new direction for training and workforce development to meet the demands of a modern Queensland and to improve productivity. We're investing $201.1 million to establish 4 new TAFE centres of excellence in Rockhampton, Moreton Bay, Caloundra and the South Moreton Bay Islands. To help secure a pipeline of skilled workers, these centres will deliver cutting-edge training in priority industries. Forgive me, Mr. Speaker. To support this, we will extend the 50% apprentice payroll tax rebate for a further 12 months. Through the Skilling Queenslanders for Work initiative, we are investing $80 million annually to support up to 15,000 people into jobs. We're also reforming key institutions such as Manufacturing Skills Queensland to better align with industry needs and improve access to practical work-ready skills. Quality investments driving the Queensland economy, combined with the capabilities of the Queensland people, is what will deliver a better future for our state. A future where Queensland will be ready to stand proud on the world stage. Mr. Speaker, this budget is delivering on our plan for the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Yeah. The Games will deliver the largest infrastructure investment in Queensland's history. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity for generational infrastructure to drive tourism and support our grassroots sporting clubs throughout the state. After the long runway had been squandered, the Crisafulli government has a plan to deliver the 2032 Games. Together with the Commonwealth, we will invest $7.1 billion for Games venues, including a new 63,000-seat stadium at Victoria Park, a new National Aquatic Centre in Spring Hill, mountain biking on the Sunshine Coast, archery facilities for Maryborough, and the upgraded Toowoomba Equestrian Centre. The first funding of the 2032 delivery plan includes $950 million over the next 4 years as an initial provision for the Athletes Village and $832 million to begin procurement and delivery of games venues. Our investment in community sport spans not only our Play On sports voucher program, but also Games On, our $250 million program to take sporting opportunities across the state. From lighting ovals in Ferny Hills to funding feasibility studies in Serena, change room renovations for the Harvey Bay Hockey Club and Longreach Showgrounds, clubhouse upgrades for the Whitsunday Brahmins Rugby League Club, to upgrades at the Rosewood Showgrounds and Cornubia Park Precinct, this budget is about delivering for every corner of Queensland. Fundamental to the Crucifoli government's vision for the Games is the opportunity to leverage this global sporting event to deliver legacy transport infrastructure for our growing state. It's about delivering a plan to get Queenslanders home sooner, to enjoy the things that really matter. There is no road in the state as integral to our economy and prosperity as the Bruce Highway. Along with the Commonwealth Government, the Crucifoli Government is investing $9 billion in the Bruce Highway to deliver long overdue safety upgrades. We're delivering seamless public transport all the way from Brisbane to the Sunshine Coast Airport with the Wave. Our $41.7 billion Queensland Transport and Roads Investment Program features funding to deliver the Barron River Bridge, Caloundra Congestion Busting Plan, Logan and Gold Coast Faster Rail, and Mooloolah River Interchange. And there's the $100 million Country Roads Connect program to boost the safety of regional roads. Mr. Speaker, this is a budget that delivers for women, delivers for their health and well-being, delivers for their economic security, and most importantly, delivers action with real outcomes. Breaking down barriers to women's economic participation and investing in women's economic security is not just about gender equality, it's about a stronger, more productive economy that delivers for every Queenslander. A new 4-year $20 million returning to work package will offer practical assistance to women seeking to transition back into the workforce after having children, caring for family, illness. We are enabling Queensland women to scale up their businesses, investing in a new program designed to break down barriers for female entrepreneurs under the $400,000 Female Founders Investment Readiness Program. We want a fairer system for women taking time away from work to raise a family, which is why we're also providing superannuation payments for the 52-week period of parental leave for Queensland public sector employees. By empowering women in the workplace, we're building a stronger, fairer and more prosperous Queensland. Mr. Speaker, domestic and family violence is a crisis that survives and thrives in darkness. But we are putting a spotlight on it and taking action. We're committed to prevention, better protections, holding perpetrators to account, and getting better outcomes for victims. We're injecting $209.7 million into crisis accommodation across Queensland, $37 million to enhance the police response to domestic and family violence, $25 million over 5 years to pilot a new electronic monitoring program for high-risk DV offenders, $3.5 million for the expansion of Hope Hub recovery centres, $18.8 million to upgrade safe spaces in courthouses, and $31.3 million to double the state's 24/7 domestic and family violence crisis response capacity. Our commitment to stamping out domestic and family violence will never waver. We will do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. At the heart of laying a foundation for a fresh start is the vision for a safer future for our youngest and most vulnerable Queenslanders. Since coming to government, we have exposed a range of critical failures and pressures and have recently announced a commission of inquiry into Queensland's child safety system. This budget includes more than $50 million for a Queensland First secure residential child safety facility to protect young people who are a danger to themselves and others. We're investing $11 million over 4 years in the establishment of a dual carer supervision model in residential care to enhance safety and oversight. $28.8 million has also been allocated to pilot a new professional foster care program for children with disabilities and complex needs. A $1,500 boost will also be provided to carers and guardians for young people in care to support participation in extracurricular activities. And we've provided $10 million to establish Daniel's Law with the new three-tiered public child sex offender register. Yeah. Building a stronger economy requires a government that is supportive of the resources sector and creates economic settings that signal the state is open for business. Yeah. And Mr. Speaker, there is no doubt the state is open for business. Yeah. We're laying out an ambitious agenda for new and expanded mining opportunities across the state. We've made available for tender 9 new areas across the Cooper, Arramanga, Bowen and Surat basins that are open to gas opportunities. We're investing in the future workforce through the expansion of the Queensland Minerals and Energy Academy to 50 more schools. This budget invests more than $13 million in new mineral exploration, including in our critical mineral zones and the operations of the Queensland Resources Common User Facility. From Moranbah to Mount Isa, from the bush to the boardroom and the classroom, we are delivering for our resources sector. It goes on. We're investing $79.1 million over 3 years in our Transforming Queensland Manufacturing program, unlocking existing funds and unlocking new ones to ensure that Queensland is not just making them here, but making them better and smarter. The Queensland Train Manufacturing program, supported in this budget with $950 million, will drive a generation of jobs in Maryborough. Yeah. And we are delivering $10 million for 2 new manufacturing hubs in Toowoomba and the Sunshine Coast, fostering next-generation jobs and supply chain resilience in regional Queensland. Mr. Speaker, this budget lays the foundations for a better future for Indigenous Queenslanders. We are delivering the $108 million Closing the Gap Priorities Fund to invest in projects in housing, education and employment in communities across Queensland, including $19 million towards health, education and water infrastructure projects in Arakoon, Cowan-Yarma and Cherbourg. Our plan for a better future with better living standards for Indigenous people is built on empowerment. That's why we're supporting home ownership for Indigenous Queenslanders, introducing a historic rent-to-buy scheme on Palm Island with a 99-year lease agreement. And we know that the mentorship of touchable heroes and real-life role models can help build our aspiration for young Indigenous Queenslanders, which is why we will extend the former Origin Greats program, supporting attendance in up to 20 new primary schools. Mr. Speaker, Queensland's farmers are the lifeblood of our regions and our diversified economy. That is why our government has promised to deliver a $30 billion primary industry sector by 2030. Towards that ambition, this budget invests $30 million in the Sowing the Seeds Fund, supporting Queensland First innovation and investment. We're investing $37.7 million to increase water storage and capacity, to protect agriculture and deliver water security, with 5 new weirs along the Thompson River in Longreach, delivering the Barlil and Kuranga weirs, improving water supply reliability along the Burnett's Boyne River and Baramba Creek, and advancing the business case for the Water for Worrell Irrigation project. This is in addition to a $346.2 million investment to ensure state-owned dams meet modern engineering standards and continue to operate safely during extreme weather events. We're protecting industry and our farmers with $51.9 million for key drought resilience initiatives and a new investment of $60.9 million to boost regional biosecurity and deliver new frontline biosecurity officers. Fire ants pose a greater than $1 billion threat to Queensland's agricultural sector. It's why our $24 million boost to Queensland's Fire Ant Suppression Task Force, taking total funding to $61 million, is vital. In a year in which our regions have borne the brunt of record floods, this budget will lay the foundations for future resilience from natural disasters with an investment of $450 million over the next 5 years as part of the Queensland Resilience and Risk Reduction Program jointly funded by the Commonwealth. This budget ensures Queensland's environment is protected, restored and shared with the world. We are protecting more of what makes our special place, our priceless habitats and native wildlife. We will deliver more protected areas in one term than the former government did in a decade. And this budget contains $39.6 million in 25-26 to work towards that pledge. Since coming to government, we've added nearly 9,000 hectares to our list of national parks and nature refuges. This is equivalent to 9,000 Suncorp stadiums, providing more protected areas for the state's endangered species, ecosystems, biodiversity and threatened flora. We're also investing in 150 additional ranges, including national park, Indigenous and fire ranges. Mr Speaker, we want to share Queensland's stunning natural landscapes with the world, along with our vibrant entertainment and restaurant scene, thrilling sporting fixtures and world-class tourism offerings. As we prepare to showcase Queensland to the world, we are providing $446 million over 4 years towards delivering our Destination 2045 tourism plan, which will position our state's tourism sector for long-term growth leading into the 2032 Games and beyond. This takes our total investment into tourism to more than $1 billion over 4 years. We're establishing new programs to create direct connections to target markets, attracting new aviation providers to improve connections to regional Queensland and the world. Our Destination 2045 plan will facilitate 45 new ecotourism experiences by 2045, ensuring Queenslanders and visitors from interstate and overseas share in our beautiful natural landscape. And we want all Queenslanders to share in the benefits. We will deliver projects across our state, like in northwest Queensland, where we will revitalise the Butchamulla Lawn Hill Gorge, the Whitsundays, where we will deliver a new narrow track, or in the far north, where we will deliver the Wongatty Trail. The arts, Mr Speaker, stamp Queensland's identity into Australian culture and society. In the lead up to 2032, we will deliver a cultural program worthy of the national and international stage. We're investing $75 million in the arts in this budget, including $9.4 million for local festivals and events in the regions. Our investment includes $42 million in our state's screen industry, with new funding for key incentives that will protect jobs and promote a sector crucial to our state's economic story and ensure local stories are told. And a further $10 million will fund improvements and upgrades across Queensland's cultural centre. Mr Speaker, the Crisafulli government is investing in new industries central to our economic activity. Our new $180.6 million Sovereign Industry Development Fund will develop our national capability, leveraging industry strengths and growing our regions. Across biomedicine, defence, biofuels and the tech sector, we will back new innovation and new jobs across Queensland. Our vibrant multicultural communities are part of what makes this state so great to live in, and we will continue to promote their story to all. We're injecting $5 million into the Multicultural Connect Grants program to deliver upgrades for community group facilities. And we're providing a further $1.5 million to support the Ethnic Communities Council of Queensland. And we're working hard to establish and improve relationships abroad as the Trade Minister rebuilds bridges and confidence that will return investment to Queensland. Delivering the best for Queensland requires a strong relationship between state and local governments. To enhance that relationship, we've signed a new Equal Partners in Government agreement that recognises the valuable role councils play in local communities. And we've made the Works for Queensland program permanent, as well as putting $130 million towards a resource recovery boost fund to support local government recycling initiatives. Mr Speaker, the Crisafulli government is backing Queensland's small and family business to boost efficiency and productivity. We understand the unique role small and family businesses play in Queensland's economy and communities. We are reducing red tape and streamlining services for small business. Thanks, Prem. with greater procurement opportunities as part of our $130 million Small and Family Business First Action Statement. This includes $16.8 million over 3 years to empower small business through the Small Business Support Network with financial counselling and coaching. We are committed to being an open and transparent government through more accessible public data and information. And we're committed to ensuring that information and systems are protected by the best cybersecurity measures. In this budget, we're establishing the $1 billion Queensland Government Digital Fund, which will help streamline access to government services and repair the IT systems that Labor failed to maintain. $25.1 million will be invested to improve the online experience for Queenslanders accessing government services. Our government is one that works for the Queensland people, that is easy to interact with and is forward-thinking. That is what this fund delivers. Mr. Speaker, laying the foundation for a better society was behind our establishment of Queensland's first Office of Social Impact. Sitting within Treasury, the Office of Social Impact is working to identify impact investment opportunities and manages the Social Entrepreneurs Fund, planted with $20 million funding a year across the Fords. In a world of infinite need, limited by scarce resources, the potential for collaboration between government, socially minded investors and the impacting business community to identify opportunities to access finance is vast. Already, with our clear Open for Business message, we have seen the philanthropic sector commit match funding as the work continues on our social impact roadmap. Queenslanders are looking for new solutions that can move the dial on societal challenges, and a fully realised social impact sector can help deliver change. Mr. Speaker, we promised a calm and methodical approach to the budget. Serious and sober, mature and responsible. Respect for taxpayers' money. Delivering our election commitments. Targeted and responsible cost of living measures to support pressured households. Investing in services. Finding a way to save, build and deliver infrastructure and projects. And beginning the work of long-term budget repair. Mr. Speaker, we know this is the start of a long journey, and it will take more than one budget and one term to turn around. This budget marks an important first step. This budget is delivering for Queenslanders, and Mr. Speaker, this budget lays the foundation for a fresh start for Queensland. Yeah.